Hey YouTube, so we're back with you guessed it, another YouTube video. And so today we're starting off with a canvas that has already been painted on. But again, my channel is about painting on a budget. And so this is easy. We can just go over it with gesso. Then we'll let it dry and then we can start our painting techniques. So we'll just go back to we'll start at step 2, which is lightly priming the canvas panel. And so I have about 4 to 5 paint brushes, and we'll be using 4 different colors today. So we'll be using one color for the background, and we'll go back to the 3 colors for the squares. And so we're just lightly gliding on the gesso. Lightly gliding. Now, it's no specific form that I glide the gesso with. I just kind of am doing enough to cover the painting. Now, most times when I cover the underpainting, I usually have to do 2 coats. So we'll see how this goes. And so I'm just lightly gliding all the spots. And so I'm not afraid to put it on thick because I just want to make sure that I've gotten the most of the darker spots. But again, if you're just painting just to relax, you don't have to do a double coating. But if you're painting to maybe sell your artwork, you should, because you want to cover that underpainting. And so we just have a few more dark spots left, and then we'll play, you guessed it, the waiting game. And when I use the gesso, I usually let it sit for about 30 minutes. And so after 30 minutes, I do my dry test, which is touching the paint to see if it's dry. And most times it usually is dry, but I always have a fan on in the back. And so if you want it to dry faster, it's best that you have a fan. And so this is it. So this was step 2. We skipped step 1 because we wanted to cover the underpainting. And so we are going straight to step 3, which is let it dry for 20 to 30 minutes with a portable fan. And so we will be back for step 4. So we're back and we're on step 4. And so step 4 is to see if the canvas is completely dry. So, we do the dry test. You just tap, nothing. So we are dry. And so we'll just go on to step 5, which is doing the background color. And so we'll just so today we'll be working with 4 different colors. So we have cadmium red, we have permanent rose, we have olive green, and we also have pale rose blush. And so today I think I do want to start off with a pink. So this is permanent rose pink, and this is Winsor Newton. Okay, so we'll just get our little paper so we can start to paint. So I have just a little bit, so we're going to see how much this covers. And so we just lightly glide on the paint. Now, if you want to use a thicker brush, you can. I'm just using this small one. And the reason why I like Winsor Newton, because the paints are very thick, and I like a thick kind of texture of a paint. It does not take long to dry, which I like that. And you don't need much of it. And so as you see now, from that small size, we're halfway through this canvas. Now this is a smaller canvas. It's 9 to 12 inches. I mean, like 9 inches in height. And so we're just gently gliding the paint on. Now again, it is up to you if you choose to fill it all the way in, or if you want to have some light spots for the background. It is truly up to you in your design. But for this video, I kind of like how spotty it is, because if you can see, I have done some texture, and I kind of like the spottiness of it. And so I will just leave it like this, because I kind of like that kind of spottiness. And it'll go really good with the different colors of squares. And so that is it. You know the drill. You know the deal. We are playing the waiting game, and we are going to watch paint dry. And so this is it for step 5. When we come back, we will start to lay the tape, and we will start on our iconic squares. And remember, when the paint is drying, you do want to have a fan on so that it can dry faster. All right, we'll be back. So we are back, and we are going to do the dry test to make sure that all of the points are dry before we put our tape, and so no paint. So now we are going to put our tape, remember 6 across and 6 down the other side. And so we always keep our flyaways, so it makes it easier for us to tape the back so that the paint stays. Now you can either make the tape as long as you want or as short as you want. So depending on the size of the squares, you can make the tape closer together or more or farther apart. And so here we go with this one. It's 2. So I'm kind of making these a little bit closer. And again, you can do the design the way you want it to because you are the artist. But if you choose to do it the way I've done it, then you can make some of the tape further apart and then some of the tape closer. And so we always turn it to the back, and then we put our flyaways down. And this is always to make the tape sturdier as we paint our squares. Now, the way I paint the squares is very kind of loose painting to me. So I just kind of just get the paint and I just paint the squares. But some people take a little bit more caution and time with it. Now, the way you choose to paint is solely up to you. But I like to use a bigger paintbrush to paint more of it at the same time. And so now we have our iconic squares. And so again, we have the olive green, we have the pale rose, and then we also have the cadmium red. And so we'll start with the olive green. And so just like we started with the pink, we'll start with a pea size, and then if we need more, then we will put more on the canvas. And so I'm gonna start with the outline. Now again, if you want your painting to be a little darker and you don't want to show the undertone, then you will have to do you'll have to do a little bit more coating for that. But for this, I actually like the fact that the undertone is showing. And so we won't do so many different colors. And so we'll start on this side and we'll do green on this side. Again, I want to show some of the other undertone of the painting because I love texture and I love to pretty much show the other colors. And so we won't do a separate piece for this. And so now we are done with that. And so the next color is the pale blush rose. And so again, we'll just start with a pea size, something like this. And yeah, I'm using my ComEd for painting, but
good night.
Good night. You can do whichever colors you want. And so as you see, I'm still showing the underpainting of the pink, which I love to do. And so then we'll do this, because remember I told you in my other videos, it doesn't have to be right alongside each one. You can pretty much do it how you feel. And so we have one more left, and that is the cadmium red. And I have a bigger brush for the red. So the red is masking, but you can still see the different designs of the pink, which I like. And so now we are done. That was super quick, super easy, super fun. And so now we're back to playing the waiting game again. And so we'll give this about 30 minutes. Now remember, always have a fan on in the background because that speeds up the drying process. And then when we come back, we'll remove the tape and we will be done. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we are back and we are on step 9, and step 9 is removing the tape. So we did the dry test, looks good, and so now it's time to remove the tape. So we just do like we normally do. We take away the flyaways. Now, sometimes the tape does tear, but you just take your time and you should be fine. This is the most satisfying part. Well, it's all satisfying to me, but I just love, it's kind of like unwrapping a gift. Like, you know that you've painted something, and so when you see it without the tape, it's kind of like, okay, so this is how it turned out. And so I always like this part because it's always like showing you the finished product. And so to me, I really enjoy the unwrapping of the tape. Okay, so we just turn it back over. And so we just pull it down. Well, let me sit it right here so you can see. And so we have, this is the finished product. Now, as you can see, we have some type of texture. I call it texture when it's not very straight painted. And so with the texture, what I like to do is put some type of paint on top of it. But I like to just kind of do a light coating. And so I'm looking for my paint, which I thought I had right beside me. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I have my gold because I just love gold. And so we're just gonna touch up some of it. I'm gonna put a little gold. So I have this paintbrush and we're just gonna, on the texture pieces, put a little gold on there. Now this is all up to you if you want to put some metallic gold on there. Like in most of my paintings, I never have enough gold, so I love to add some gold pieces to it. And I kind of like that metallic look. So it's always fun for me when I add this little metallic gold. Especially with the red, with the darker colors, it really kind of shows really good. And so we're pretty much it. We've done pretty much everything to this painting that I wanted to do. Now remember, when you first start painting, it's more about the fun of it. It's more about enjoying the paintbrush. It's more about enjoying the process. So when you first start painting, don't worry about how it comes out, especially if you're not trying to sell it. So you just want to have the fun of it. So this is more of a fun painting. You find some really fun, cool colors, and then you pretty much do this technique. And this is a de-stressor technique. So this is when you've had a stressful week, or if you had a stressful day and you kind of just want to come home, relax, kind of paint, kind of unwind, get into that meditative headspace, and you just want to pop a video in and say, you know what, I'll do some painting today. This is cheap, it's quick, and it's easy. And no matter if you make a masterpiece or something very simple as this, it always helps you release hormones and endorphins, and it can always put you into that meditative state when you just enjoy the activity of creating. And so that is it. Of course, we'll let this dry again, but we are done for this painting. I'm going to show you an up close so you can see the metallic. And I kind of love the metallic because when the light hits it, you can kind of see more of the definition of the painting. And so that is pretty much it for today. This painting, we'll name this one Bridget. And so Bridget is just something simple, something easy, and something fun. And so that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time for the Parallel Lines series. Bye.